Presidential polls. Who is going to be the sacrificial goat of the opposition? The divided opposition, which is desperate in finding a candidate to face the ruling BJP-led NDA's nominee, is turning out to be a comedy of errors. As many as 3 candidates so far have turned down the opposition's offer, and they are Sharad Pawar of NCP, followed by Farooq Abdullah of the National Conference, and later Gopal Krishna Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. The presidential polls are scheduled to be held on July 18th. The filing of nominations, which began on June 15th, will be closed on June 28th. Riding high on her Trinamool Congress party's resounding victory in the West Bengal a few months back, its President and State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, in a bid to don the Kingmaker, appears to be facing humiliation. Although the opposition does not have numbers, Mamata, who is affectionately called Didi, expected that all opposition parties toe her line to defeat the BJP-led NDA candidate. As a matter of fact, the recent 5 state polls, in which the Saffron Party could retain all 4 states, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Manipur and Goa, significantly helped to gain an upper hand in the upcoming presidential polls. On the other hand, the opposition, especially the Congress, which lost badly in Punjab, further weakened its game plan. Yet, the opposition was confident that those independent-thinking opposition parties like the Biju Janata Dal of Naveen Patnaik and Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy-led YSRCP can be roped to win the presidential elections. But it was YSRCP chief Jagan Mohan Reddy who sprung a surprise by announcing his party's decision to back the NDA nominee in the presidential polls, which punctured the hopes of the opposition. And, as usual, BJD is holding its cards close to its chest, yet many political analysts feel that it may either extend its support to the NDA nominee, as in the past its pattern has been on issues based, or quietly abstain to pave way for the ruling candidate to win. The YSRCP announcement made it clear that the BJP, which enjoys more than 50% of the votes, is required to ensure that its nominee wins comfortably. But the opposition is still banking on the Janata Dal United of Nitish Kumar, a coalition partner of the BJP in Bihar, as well as NDA's key ally, who might extend their support to the nominee, considering its growing differences with the Saffron Party. Many a political analyst wonder whether Nitish Kumar, who is benevolent of BJP's large-hearted gesture to make him CM again, though his party got a lesser number of MLA seats than them, will dare ditch the Saffron Party. That too at the fag end of his political career. Never in the past the opposition nominee had won the presidential election. And in the 15th presidential election since independence, the BJP enjoys a majority in the Lok Sabha and close to a majority with its allies in the Rajya Sabha. This shows that it indeed has a clear edge. In the Electoral College, which comprises members of both the Houses of Parliament and the state assemblies, there are around 10.86 lakh votes. The BJP and its alliance partners are a little short of the halfway mark, having around 5.26 lakh or 48% of the votes. But YSRCP extending its support and having a little over 45,000 votes has cleared the decks for its nominee victory. That apart, the BJP is confident to garner support from other regional and national parties to ensure smooth sailing for its candidate. Meanwhile, if one chose to analyze why Sharad Pawar and Farooq Abdullah have turned down the offer made by the TMC leader, then Pawar has realized the Dynast's plans to settle scores with him and weaken his party in his native Maharashtra, as he walked out of the Congress to form his own nationalist Congress, stating Sonia's foreign nativity or origin. As far as Farooq Abdullah is concerned, he would not like to miss the possible assembly polls in his home state of Jammu and Kashmir, which are scheduled to be held soon. The centre has dropped enough hints to hold polls sooner than later in the new union territory. That apart, he was also well aware that the opposition doesn't have numbers, and the seasoned politician that he is, he cannot afford to become a sacrificial goat at this age. The opposition's efforts to convince the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, Gopal Krishna Gandhi too, failed as their latter politely turned down the offer. Now the opposition is looking at Yashwant Sinha, a former BJP rebel and now a member of Didi's TMC. Apart from him, the opposition is reportedly approaching the former senior Congress leader and opposition leader in the Rajya Sabha, Ghulam Nabi Azad. But many wonder, knowing the numbers, will they too willingly fall prey and become a sacrificial goat? In that backdrop, one wishes to see who would put his head on chopping block, knowing well that winning presidential polls is a far cry. On the other hand, the ruling NDA is treading a cautious path in assessing its own strengths and will spring a surprise yet again, as it did in the last presidential polls, by naming a surprising candidate at the last minute. Sources in the BJP claim that the party, in all probability, is all set to announce its candidate's name on Tuesday evening. No sooner the PM returns to the national capital after his 2-day visit to Karnataka. The party's high-level meeting is also scheduled. Will the BJP candidate yet again be a state governor, as it was in the case of Ramnath Kovind, who was Bihar governor then? Or a state chief minister? Or elevate the Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu to Rashtrapati Bhavan? But a little bird in the BJP claims that it is more unlikely to happen, and it may be the governor of Kerala, Arif Muhammad Khan. Yes, a surprise that none would have anticipated. This is MS Purthy for Orange News 9 TV.